Hey everyone, this is Ivan from Networth SG. So for this week's video, I'm going to explore about why some people they don't like to budget. Okay, starting off, let's bust some myths about budgeting. Okay, so myth number one: budgeting is a tedious thing. Budgeting is very time consuming, but not necessary. Okay, let me qualify myself. While it's true that the detailed budget that we do for our clients requires a lot of thoughtful analysis and we really go in depth, but it can be a very simple thing as well, and budgeting can be an easy thing to do as well. So you can always start off with a simple budget first and move on from there. And then such a simple budget, right, just takes a few minutes to plan. Very easy. Okay, so that's myth number one. Let's move on to myth number two. Budgeting is very painful. It means I have to cut spending. I have to give up on all the pleasures and the leisures in life. Well, not true again. Okay, budgeting is not about spending less money. Budgeting is about spending more intentionally. It's about spending more purposefully. Okay, because budgeting is about prioritizing the important and the meaningful things in life. And the idea is that because you've already prioritized those things which are important already, you can then spend freely without worrying about overspending or not allocating enough towards your goals. Yeah, but let's say you're in a phase in life, right, where you want to love yourself and you feel that you really need to catch up with yourself. By all means, do so. Spend. But again, the idea is to do so with intent, to do so with purpose. Okay. And let's move on to myth number three, which is that budgeting requires you to keep track of every single cent that you spend, and that can be very tedious. But again, let me just clarify. Yeah, budgeting is not the same as accounting. Accounting is looking back in the past to see how much was spent and where the money was spent at rather. Okay, but budgeting is forward-looking. Budgeting is about making a decision where you want to allocate your dollars. Okay, so I'm not saying that it's not important to track the spending, but what I'm saying is that it shouldn't stop you from budgeting, stop you from getting started. Yeah, and especially with payments going digital nowadays, it is so easy to keep track of spending because everything is automatic already in a sense. Yeah, so let's move on to myth number four. Some of you may feel that, well, I earn a decent income, I'm quite comfortable, so I don't really need to budget. Well, let me just say this. The only people who don't need to budget are the people who don't care about the future. The only people who don't need to budget are those who only want to live in the now, in the present. And the people who don't need to budget are those who don't want to get better. They are happy where they are. Okay. Let me say one more thing, which is that even companies, right, they earn millions in revenue each year. They also have their own company budget because they want to plan and allocate their resources accordingly. So if they are doing it right, why not us? Shouldn't we do the same as well, right? Okay, so I'm happy for you that you are doing well in life, but the bigger question is, don't you want to do even better tomorrow? Don't you agree? Right, so myth number five. Perhaps it's for another group of people. You may feel that you don't even earn enough to survive already, and how to budget some more. Okay, but that's precisely the point, precisely why you need to budget. It's because resources are so limited, right? That's why we need to be very, very careful with our dollars, with our money, right? So get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle by budgeting. If you want to be debt-free, you need to start budgeting. And if you want to have more cash savings in the bank, then you really need to budget. Okay, so what is this whole budgeting thing really about? It's quite simple. Budgeting is about being honest with yourself. Budgeting is about being honest with your money. Because where you spend your money reveals a lot about your true priorities. A budget gives you clarity because it really forces you to decide where you intend to allocate every single dollar. So if you're really serious about, say, to further your studies, or you want to start a side business, then you need to start budgeting for it. If you want to clear your loans fast, or you want to upgrade your property, for example, you need to budget for it. And let's say you want to have more cash buffers in the bank, or you want to have a steady stream of passive income, again, you need to budget for it. Okay? Because budgeting is about controlling your wealth rather than letting your wealth control you. Okay? It's about living within your means and not spending money that you don't have yet. It's about not giving in to your urges but directing your money to a better future. Yet, the beautiful thing is, at the same time, by budgeting properly, it allows you to spend freely without any guilt at all. So budgeting really, at the end of the day, is about having a peace of mind. Okay, so peace of mind by ending the paycheck to paycheck cycle, maybe build up a full year of a cash buffer. Start today, start budgeting today. Okay, it gives you a peace of mind also because each and every dollar will be put to good use, and very importantly, with intent and with purpose. Because it gives you a peace of mind because you're taking small steps every single month to create a better future for yourself. Now, isn't that wonderful? Okay, now let's move on to the question of how do you actually budget like a champion, right? Okay, first things first, you got to list down your regular bills and also your obligations such as your allowances, for example. And for variable expenses such as utility bills which are vary slightly every single month, okay, the trick is to average them out over 6 months. That's number one. Number two, round up those categories to the nearest 10. Okay, so by averaging and rounding up those variable expenses, in a sense, you're transforming them into fixed expenses, which is the beautiful thing, yeah? Okay, then the next thing to do is to round down your income to the nearest 100. The reason why we want to do that is because it will help to offset any unforeseen, unplanned spending, any leakages along the way. Okay, and moving on to the next tip, which is you got to separate the household budget and the family budget from your own personal spending. Okay, and as for the cash spending, right, you do not have to track every single dollar, every single cent. So the idea is that the moment you withdraw the cash from your bank account via the ATM machine, you can consider the whole stack of money as spent already. Yeah, and of course, when it comes to budgeting, there are certain guidelines. Now, for example, try to keep your fixed expenses to your needs down to 50% or preferably even lesser, and then aim to save 30%. Save and invest 30%, leaving the last 20% which you can spend freely on whatever you want to make yourself happy. Yeah. And another tip about budgeting is that you got to put every single dollar to use. Allocate every single dollar with intent. Yeah. And one more important thing is that for your discretionary spending, right, it is important to separate it from the bank account which is holding your savings, which is holding your salary, and then your fixed expenses as well. When I say discretionary spending, I mean money for grocery shopping, for taxi rides, for eating out, or maybe you want to buy gifts for your friends. Spending which you need to make a decision on to spend. Okay, such spendings should be put in a separate account so that it doesn't overflow. We want to prevent overspending. And the last tip, which is that you will want to monitor the amounts in each category, the percentages that you're saving or you're spending on regularly. And the idea is that monitor it closely and celebrate those improvements and those progresses that you've made for yourself. Because budgeting can be a very fulfilling and motivating endeavor. Okay, so if you have decided to be serious about budgeting, then why not hire a money coach that will guarantee your success, right? So reach out to me via my email, my WhatsApp, or message me via my social channels. As for the rest of you, if you find this video useful, please remember to follow my channels, go and smack the like button, and then share this video with all of your friends, okay? Now to end off, okay, there's this quote by Christopher Morley, okay? There is only one success, and that is to be able to spend your life in your own way. And I'll just add it in my own phrase, with intent, with purpose. Thank you guys. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.